Welcome, seekers and visionaries, to Oracle Mountain Chats. Here on this sacred virtual peak, we gather a space for oracles to share their wisdom, their visions, and their craft. It all began with a calling I could not ignore. One day, within a vision, I held this conch shell in my hands, and as I blew its resonant note into the world, I felt its vibration ripple across unseen realms. It was a summons, a signal to fellow oracles scattered near and far. I saw that we were on a mountain, vast and towering, reaching into the heavens. At its base, the world buzzed with life, people moving, creating, searching. Yet at the summit, there was stillness, clarity, and a circle of light. There, oracles stood, their gaze focused both outward and inward. They spoke of the energies they felt, the shifts they saw, and the whispers of the unseen. They weren't above the world, they were its witnesses and its guides. From this vision, OracleFest was born, a celebration of connection, insight, and the timeless wisdom that flows through us all. The message was clear. It is time. Time to meet upon this sacred mountain, to share what we hear, feel, and see. Time to bring the wisdom of the divine to a world that is yearning for its guidance. Through OracleFest, we've created a movement of community, all yearning to empower their own inner oracle. And here in Oracle Mountain Chats, we bring that spirit into a more intimate space. This is where the oracles gather to reflect, exchange ideas, and to explore what wishes to come through in the moment. This mountain is more than stone and sky. It is a meeting place of the realms, a threshold between seen and unseen, known and unknown. Here we gather as oracles to share the visions Spirit whispers to us, to speak of the energy currents flowing through nature and humanity, and to help guide those who seek answers in a world that often feels lost. So grab a seat, breathe in the mountain air, and join us as we begin today's chat. Whether it's an energy reading, a conversation about our craft, our path, or simply sharing a perspective on the world below, this is where we wait for more oracles to join us on the mountain. What wisdom will the mountain bring us today? Let's find out together. Step into this sacred space where the wisdom of the ages converges with the questions of the present. Okay, here we find ourselves back on Oracle Mountain, this virtual mountain peak, which is getting more and more full. I realized the other day we have like over 20 episodes of the Oracle Mountain Chats already on YouTube. And I realized, wow, it's been a busy couple months and a delightful couple months getting to meet and greet all of these oracles, modern day oracles and mystics, sages, as they arrive to this mountain peak. And it's interesting, whenever we start these, I'm in a bit of that visual space in my mind before I jump on these calls, and I have a sense kind of what we're doing. And today I got the sense we're gonna hang out and it's gonna be a relaxing chat, and we're gonna vibe, vibrations. A little hint for anyone who knows, our guest today is Jeralyn Glass. And so Jeralyn, I first would love for you to maybe explain who you are by explaining what are all these things behind you if people are not aware.
Thank you, Kate, and thank you
Welcome.
for creating this mountain and this place that we can climb to and ascend to, and then climb back down and ground that you've created. It's really wonderful. So I'm Jeralyn Glass. I am a musician. I am a singer, and I have come into the field of sound healing in the last 10 years. I've been playing the instruments that are behind me are Alchemy crystal singing bowls, and they are a modern instrument in the field of sound and music as medicine is how I'm using them. They're only about 25 years old, so many of you may be familiar with the metal bowls called Himalayan or Tibetan singing bowls, and those have been around for a couple of hundred of years. These are really new. And I find that to be very interesting because they're made of pure quartz. And the quartz is then infused with precious gemstones such as ruby or amethyst, metals such as silver or gold, substances from the earth such as charcoal or frankincense, or minerals such as vanadium. So those get infused into the pure quartz, and then they're fired at high temperatures, and then you have, voila, an alchemy crystal singing bowl. And as I play them, the beautiful elements or alchemies are being amplified. So because our bodies are quartz-like in structure, we have a quartz-like structure to our bones and our blood, the human system is able to receive these sounds very, very easily. So I am just passionate about helping people, about sharing music that's infused with these sounds, because I think no matter where we are in the world today, we all need a place to deeply relax, to regenerate, to renew ourselves, and to really calm our nervous systems and come to that place of just pristine stillness.
Oh, I just want to stay here. What a delightful moment. I love the idea of vibrational healing, and also the idea that it's almost, you know what I've noticed when I was a chiropractic receptionist, I would notice how people would come in and their energy flips after they've had an adjustment, right? And things get aligned. And then, they come in tired, they leave super energized. They come in, super bouncing on the walls, and they leave really chill, really relaxed, because they've gotten whatever the balance is that they need. And it makes me think, I was always told you need to lay down after to like actually let everything settle and integrate so that you can get used to it. And it's in that silence. Same with yoga. At the end of the yoga classes, they'll have this shavasana, lying down, and people are so familiar with that idea. Do you think the silence after ingesting sound, in whatever way we've experienced sound healing, do you notice much in that space as well? As does it translate?
Yeah, because the whole point of whatever we're doing for our health and wellness is that we have the ability to embody, whether it's the chiropractic adjustment, whether it's the yoga class, whether it's a Reiki session, whatever it is, whether it's a sound bath. We want to have the space to embody and integrate what we've just experienced. Otherwise, we get up and it's like, whoop, okay, back in life again, like that, right? And it's like, no, 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 no. Let's come to that place of stillness, and let's really allow it to move in every cell of us so that it's integrated and that it's grounded. Because it's not just about that relaxation and, back to our world the way it was, or it's not just about that opening of the third eye and like, wow. No, it's about, for me, how do I ground it? How do I embody it? How do I take that adjustment, whatever it may be, and up level myself, right? So that then I walk in my life at a higher, we can say a higher frequency, a higher vibration, that I feel that I'm more an instrument of love and of the divine. And so this idea of the sound current, or the idea of great music, all of it is built on sound and silence. Sound and silence. Music has rests, and the rests shape the music, right? So it's like, if I can give myself time to really receive and to embody and integrate what I've experienced, that's the prize. That's the win.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I think often say that our world really needs a lot more integration or embodiment practices, and celebration and joy practices. I really think we need a lot more of those as well. And sound healing has given me like both, actually. There has been times that I've really felt like so alive, and like not only just relaxed, but really invigorated with sound. And I'm sure there's a lot of science and also just deep ancient understanding about why that would be. But I also love that the instruments you're using now are so new. It's like, wow, what a world, a whole foray is open to us, maybe that we haven't experienced before in sound healing. So so beautiful. I have a question for you. I wonder what brought you to knowing this was going to be the specialty for you? Like, that this was feeling like the strongest pull? Because I'm sure you've had, experiences in other areas of healing as well leading to this.
I think first what you just said, it's that finding that joy again in our lives, no matter whatever we are going through, whether it's a diagnosis or a loss or a change of job or a divorce or whatever the things are that challenge us in our lives. I think it's finding that place of acceptance of it, and then the place that we can breathe and feel that. And so for me, music's always been, that's who I've been from the time I'm a little girl. I started singing lessons when I was 11, and I knew at a very young age that music was going to be my life's path. But it wasn't, and it took me to Broadway, it took me to Europe where I lived for many years. And, I had the experience of being a singer and having to use my human instrument, for example, to project in 3,000 seat theaters over a 90-piece orchestra with no amplification. So that means that, you as the human instrument, you have to come in tune with yourself and be able to let these two tiny vocal cords vibrate an essence of what it is you want to communicate, right? So I always knew the magic of being a singer and what that meant to feel like how touched people could be by music. But it wasn't until almost 10 years ago that I lost my only child, and here he is. He's my big angel that sits with me on the computer and is with me always. But he passed away, and he and I together have been on this journey of how is sound, how did music really become my medicine? Because as you can imagine, for anyone that's experienced loss, whether it's a parent and you feel like, oh my gosh, I've lost my past, or whether it's a partner and you feel like I've lost my present, my life, or a child and you feel like I've lost my future. My son has really shown me that, oh, Mom, you didn't lose your future. We just have a different future. And so the two of us, I'm going to say, hand in hand through sound vibration, becoming the bridge that is connecting where he is or where I am from heaven to earth, that's been the connector. And so sound unexpectedly took me on this journey of, first of all, how do you ever heal? How do you heal something like that? There are so many things for all of us in our lives that we go, I wish you could give me a pill for that. But no matter what pill I would have tried, it wouldn't have taken the grief away, right? So it's asking us, the situations in our lives, to go deep inside, go into that stillness we were talking about. And, sometimes in that stillness, there can be a great discomfort, or there can be fear, or there can be anxiety. But if we have the safety to go into that stillness and then breathe and feel and calm the anxiety, calm down the fear, balance our hormonal system, help to bring more dopamine into the system, to reduce the cortisol production levels. If we can do that with this integration of sound, wow, then there's something that we say is transformational or healing. And so that experience of grief and sitting there going, what do I do with my life? Not my son, not my life, not everything that I dreamed about. And then it's like, yeah, this is the reality. Okay. So, I'm in Los Angeles. That's where I live, and, grew up here, was born here, and we're having terrible fires right now. And so it's, how do we heal? I mean, that's the universal question, I think, for all of us in this OracleFest too, is, when we are transforming, how do we transform things? And how do we make that transformation something that's lasting, something that has an integrity to it, where you really feel like, and I can say to you that what you were mentioning about joy, like as I started to work with the singing bowls after my son passed and felt his presence very strongly guiding me, it was like, oh my gosh, the first time that I played them in a therapeutic manner, really for myself, working directly with grief, I played for like 50 minutes, and I remember just toning and sounding and groaning and making noises that I couldn't speak about in the talk therapy. And then I went to go wash my face in the bathroom, and I looked up in the mirror and I saw, Kate, there was light in my eyes. I saw joy again, and it was like, this is incredible. How can sound bring joy? And how can I be in the deepest, darkest despair, not wanting to get out of my bed ever again? And suddenly I'm playing these sound bowls, and then something happens in my eyes. I can see my face lit up with joy. What is that? And that's what I want to share with the world. I mean, that's what our oracle deck is about. That's what my book is about. That's what our app Source Be Inspired is about. It's what my music is about, is how can we be bigger and not a victim of the things that happen in our lives. They're not happening to us and they're not against us. They're happening for us. And that's a hard concept for many things in our lives. Like, there's goodness, and we are essentially light and energy and sound vibration. So how do we integrate that in our lives? And for me, the singing bowls became about that, about how do I up level myself and not run from the grief, have a safe space to breathe it and feel it, and then allow it to transmute and transform.
Mhm. I love how you even phrase saying allow it to transform. Like that often there's that sensation that really we want the healing and we are looking to transform, and it actually is our natural way if we can just sort of let that happen, like, really sink into it, or give ourselves up for, like, to it as well. That's what it evokes in me to I mean, I'm emotional. It's not the first time I've been teary-eyed on these Oracle Mountain chats, and it won't be the last, I'm sure. But it speaks so deeply, all of your story, of course. There's a familiarity with the story, I think, for a lot of people of what am I even doing with my life? That could be in any context. And isn't that so much the cause of, like, why we criticize ourselves or how we feel not like our true selves in some kind of way? And that's a deep, deep, deep soul wound for people. And then there's also that feeling of, like, did you see that movie Midsummer that came out? Midsummer. It was this thing that came out. It doesn't matter if you watch it or not, because I know lots of people in the audience won't have watched it either. But there's a scene in it where there's a whole bunch of people all around one person. That one person is grieving and having an emotional experience, and the rest all match that emotional experience. So it's like this cathartic, communal, emotional sort of release. And there's something that's very, very, it's very, very potent about the experience you're talking about. Basically saying, I'm going to get in there with these sound bowls and I'm going to just be with this mega uncomfortable experience that you've just been carrying on your back this whole time, like dragging with you or avoiding, or whatever the experiences we have to it. And then actually just say, I'm going to be really honest and really vulnerable with myself, for myself, and engage with that light again, that there's like something that can be changed here. Like I always think of transformation as this fire, right? That you're doing something to churn and transmute this in some way. And I imagine there's lots of people who think about these types of experiences. Oh, you're crying and you just creating different sound to say, okay, wherever this is, let it, please let it, do something else. Let it shift somewhere. I need some of this to be shifted. There's probably a lot of people who think about that and then have a hard time getting to that place, where they can you describe any of how to say yes to that in your own mind?
Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting, really following what you're saying is like, there was no way I could figure this out. Like when
Yeah.
you're in that kind of grief or when you're going through a transformative time in your life and there's no pathway through there, we have to carve the pathway through there. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, sound is the thing that, okay, it wrapped itself around me. Again, it was a world that I knew, as a musician.
Mm-hmm.
It wrapped itself around me and said, okay, baby, I got you. Let's go. And you have no idea where you're going. I mean, that first session, I can tell you what I used a selenite bowl. Selenite is about grounded white light. I can tell you that I used a bowl that was for the throat chakra. Did I recognize any of that? No, not really.
Right.
It's just suddenly I was playing that bowl, and then that bowl began to sound like nails on a chalkboard. And I'm like, as a musician, what the heck am I doing wrong? And then it was just like, leave it, just keep playing. And then suddenly, sounds were coming out that I couldn't speak in the talk therapy. Well,
Mm-hmm.
if we try to think our way through healing, we can't.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to find safety however you do. And for me, music is just, it's a blanket that can hold, whether you say I like Beethoven or you say I like whatever, rap music or jazz music, it doesn't really matter. It's what feels good to you, or you like the sound of the crystal bowls. What feels good to you is what's going to be your medicine. And in that moment, that screeching sound from the bowl was actually amplifying and reflecting my grief that I couldn't get to by talking about it. There's feelings that we go through that are just so intense, and suddenly sound is holding space, and you're just breathing and feeling, and it's releasing, as you said, in a very natural, organic, authentic way. And the mind can't guide you through that. We
No,
have
it's
to,
really, it's a guttural thing, isn't it? It's way
and we
more.
have to have the courage to be present and to
Yeah.
just go with what we're being guided to express or to feel. And I
Mhm.
think therein is really the wonder and the awe that I experienced of healing, what that means.
And the how of it landed you in this beautiful world of, and this only, I mean, there's so many things that we don't know yet about vibration and sound healing. So I'm sure you never get bored with the work that
No,
you're doing. So much so
no,
that you've created many things, and it's on my mind that I personally, selfishly, really just want to see more of your Oracle deck.
sure.
So I was wondering if you
So,
wouldn't mind showing me more of this Oracle deck.
okay,
Crystal Sound
so
Healing Oracle.
here's the deal. It's in the fall of 2022, and my son is saying to me, Mom, we have to make an oracle deck. And I'm going, Son, I'm busy right now. I'm grieving you, and I'm busy right now. And
Right.
it's like,
Talk to me in ways that don't give me tasks.
and then as it got closer to holiday time, he's like, Mom, you got to make the oracle deck now. And it was like, okay, this is the inside of the box. I just love the
Oh
inside of the
my
box.
gosh.
So that's the amethyst.
Stunning.
It's the
Mm.
amethyst bowl. This particular bowl, this darker one, is amethyst with gold in it. So it's a very dark amethyst. But it
Ooh.
was like, Mom, make this deck, and then revealed, Mom, you have to put QR codes on it so that people, most everybody, wherever you are in the world, has some sort of cell device, can put their phone on there and can hear the sound of the card, right? So he's like, you got to be able to put, this is one of my favorite cards, you have to be able to put sound in people's back pockets. So it was like, okay. And we figured
Amazing.
out a way with Hay House took the project, and there we had it. And it was really, how do I, okay, so there's 48 cards. There's single bowl cards, and there's four harmonic sets of cards. So
Ooh.
the idea is that you can listen to the sound of your singing bowl, and then in the guidebook there is an alchemy mantra. So for example, every card has a little alchemy mantra and a little
Mm.
meditation and a description. What does this card mean for you? And we decided to fashion the cards with meaningful photos and sacred geometry, because for me, sound is created with structure. So, in other words, like if I'm using a bowl that has certain particular overtones, there's a structure to the sound that helps to create the healing force. So we use the idea of sacred geometry on the cards, and watercolor, which watercolor is also it's an art form that, like we were talking about, when you put the dot and you work with the brush, you don't know where the watercolor is going to go. You don't know the form it's going to take. And for me, that's such an aspect of healing, that we don't know where we're going, but we've said yes on the path, and we've said yes to ourselves. So they're a combination of meaningful pictures and watercolor, sacred geometry. So I'm very, very, very proud of the deck.
It's so gorgeous. I love, and it really like it evokes a mood, a feeling, each of them, right? And yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, and this is, for example, that is a picture of a statue in our hometown area that my son took and won a prize for. This
Mm.
is the outside is the Sri Yantra symbol, and the photograph is a sunset that my son took. So they're infused with,
Mm.
I don't know, there's just a lot of energy and beauty in the card deck itself. And the idea that sound can really, really hold us, and that you can do a simple short. The recordings of the single bowls are 44 seconds. The group bowls are a minute and 44 seconds.
So easy. Like you could do that every morning and just set the
Yeah,
tone, right?
yeah,
Set a
yeah.
ring
Let me choose a card
for
for
Oracle
this
Fest. Yeah.
for the Oracle Fest. Let's see what we
Yay.
got.
Yay.
Let's see what we got.
I love tuning into Oracle Fest as a separate entity. It's what I've done since, there's a lot of excitement.
I love this card.
Oh,
Oh my
great.
gosh. Okay, so this is charcoal.
Mm.
So, charcoal element in a bowl is really about cleansing, clearing, detoxifying. This is cleansing, clearing,
Mm.
releasing negativity. And you can see that little it's that little wing. So this is actually a little stone that's made of pyrite. So it's
Mm.
like yeah, and then you see that the image is kind of like an angel. So let's just see what this
Mhm.
says to card 27. Woo! So, charcoal comes with a strong message of hope. The angel wing on the card symbolizes a new beginning. You are protected. You let go and rid yourself of negativity. You are free from limiting beliefs and old ways of thinking that kept you from shining. Charcoal invites your truth to emerge and gives you permission to be your authentic self. That's kind of what we
Yep.
were talking about. And then there's an alchemy mantra, and then the little spoken text is, I am cleansed. I let go of any burdens and weariness. I feel safe and free. I detoxify and release any negativity that weighs me down. I begin again. I am pure potential and I create myself anew. Wow.
I
What did
love
you
that.
start?
You know what's so cool too? You'll love this. This is so synchronistic. Is just before we hopped on our call today, what I've been working on this morning is the Fire of the Phoenix transformational chat. And so we have these like reflective questions that help us transform. And we're like, what are we leaving in the ashes of Oracle Fest? Like we're going to have this through line of the fire because that's part of the shamanic way. And so in between our sessions, I'll say, oh, go over to the fire chat and go reflect so people can have this whole transformational experience if they choose, right? To engage with it that way. Or maybe they just take the questions and do them later. But I thought charcoal coming up the day that I'm working on this Fire of the Phoenix, I think is pretty brilliant.
Now, I can say to you a little bit more about that bowl.
Yes, please.
That bowl is a grounded bowl. So the sound that you'll hear is a very grounded sound. And
Mm.
it's actually corresponding with the crown chakra, but below the feet. So this bowl, so there was so much detail I could have gone into in the card deck, but
Yeah.
it's too much. It's more about creating a sacred space for people to breathe and feel, but just so that you know that
Yeah.
that note and that bowl is about grounding our connection to the divine. So clearing and cleansing
Mm.
any space that doesn't allow us to really ground it. What we were talking about at the very beginning of the conversation, how do I integrate and embody and ground when I go into the stillness after sound has helped me to move energies? How do I embody that, integrate it, and walk as it? That's
Mm.
exactly what that note and that bowl is about.
That's amazing. And that's what it's all about, right? Is this idea of actually when we spend more time in these healing spaces or spiritual realms or understanding all these different parts, we actually are making room for that connection. We can feel more grounded because we even have more awareness, more knowledge, or more experiences, even. Which is why I was so excited that there are two sound healing experiences in Oracle Fest, like the Friday evening and the Saturday evening. It worked out so magically because it feels for me, I've had some really really amazing healing transformations and visions come through, many visions and many, I mean, yeah, too many to count, associated with music but also specifically associated with sound baths as well. Sound baths
Beautiful.
feel like such a key that if people haven't experienced it, oof, I'm so excited, right? I'm really, really excited. If people are coming into OracleFest never having experienced any of this or come aware of it, what would you recommend for people just opening up to receiving sound healing?
Wow. So just a few days ago, I gave two sound baths free to the public just because, again, of what's going on here in
Yeah.
Los Angeles and the amount of, just the amount of devastation and the amount of fear and anxiety that people are feeling simply also if you're not firsthand affected by it, but the air quality, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so the first group was families with children and babies, and the second group was everybody. And they both sold out, and both of those groups, for the most part, people had never experienced a sound bath before.
Wow.
So it was like it really inspired me to know that people are hearing about sound and music as
Mm-hmm.
medicine. They're hearing about sound healing and what does that mean, but they didn't know what to expect.
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest that you can find a comfortable and safe space for yourself. That you know that you're going to slow down your breath when you experience the sound, so that you know you're going to open up this central channel. So your energy center, your chakra system, however it is for you. And if you've never experienced it at all, it's just going to be a place of a deep relaxation where you can close your eyes, you can lay down. It's also recommended that you can sit up because if you do, you'll have maybe more of a feeling of like a kundalini rising. You'll have more of a feeling of the energy of the sound moving up and down your spine. Either way is fine. And just be prepared. You know, sometimes people say, am I going to get wet? You know, a sound bath is not that you put on your swimsuit. A sound bath is something that you'll, just be bathed in this kind of beauty of the vibrations and the frequencies. So
I
it's a
love
kind
that.
of meditation. For many people, they can't meditate silently. So to have music or sound vibration to help them again quiet their mind, that's what you can expect. And then as you said, you may see colors. Many times people, like in the deck, there's like the first card that I showed you, you may see sacred geometrical forms. You may see colors. Many times people do. You may have deep insights. You may just feel deeply relaxed. There's no one size fits all. Sound is a very individual kind of medicine, which is what I love about it. Is that if we allow it, it goes exactly where you need it to go, right?
Yeah.
And it's not done from the conscious mind. It's really done from, okay, I open and I allow healing to happen. I allow myself to move stuck energies. And especially with this theme of charcoal now, it's allowing a real complete release of negativity and a cleansing, clearing, and detoxification.
Hmm. Absolutely. All the junk that people are carrying with them in any vibrational state. I mean, really, because that it always feels like it shakes things loose. And even the couple days after, people are going to notice that things still are. It's almost like like a gong that just continues reverberating over that amount of time. It's like still shaking off almost some of these
Yeah,
changes after the
you want
fact.
to, yeah, you want to drink water. You want to drink plenty of water and just
Ah,
know
good
that
point.
your system energetically is detoxifying. You want to be
Hmm.
careful if you go out of your house, like you don't want to listen to the sound bath driving your car. And if
Yes.
you do go out, you want to make sure that you're grounded. So, my teacher used to say to me after singing lessons, when you get super high, she'd like, make sure you look right and left before you cross the street. So you just want to make sure you're present and grounded and receive, just relax and receive the sound experience. So
Ugh, I'm so very excited and so glad that you pulled the charcoal as well. It really, really resonates as also these tips that you're giving before and after. I could also just be said for all of Oracle Fest as well, because it feels like, yeah, if you're listening to these various different um vibrational shifts, because actually what every single speaker is bringing is some new perception, new way of looking at the world and at yourself, your own personal healing. And so if every individual attends Oracle Fest and interacts with everything, you are like absolutely raising your vibration because you are opening your mind and taking in all this new. So you want to keep that cleansing. The water thing, I'm going to have to give people water reminders. That's a really good point, Jeralyn.
And just to keep, oh, how do I say it to you? Like sound is a natural way of detoxifying. And so you
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
whether it's suddenly you realize after a sound bath, like I'll always tease and just say like, um, when you have certain triggers, suddenly you recognize that the triggers are gone. Like that
Yeah.
person can do whatever and you don't get riled up. It's like there is
Mhm.
definitely a deep cleansing going on. So yes, drink a lot of
Mm.
water to keep yourself hydrated and help you consciously release.
Yes, yeah. I love that. It's beautiful awareness to have as well. And the fact that your deck is, I just didn't say it yet, and so it's still in my mind. The fact that your deck is also so woven with your sun is so beautiful. And it's a very much a testament to also the vibration of it, the energy of it, which is really, yeah, very authentic. So I love that we can listen to each card, that if you're going through something and you need to attune to a different vibration. So if anyone is showing up to OracleFest and enjoys this session with Jeralyn, I would highly recommend getting that deck, and then being able to actually continue that detoxification process as well. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and just a little behind the scenes, we actually ended up doing all the recordings on Christmas Eve. So there was a very special, I'm going to say sacred and holy, whatever that means to each of you.
Mhm.
There was a very sacred stillness on the day, the night that we recorded all the recordings. And
Wow.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
beautiful. And that you were able to get all those recordings in like the same container energetically, this same like I do love that. I'm a big fan of, it's all well and good to do this, do that, how fun, and but to really make sure that these all line up with a real spirit behind it. I'm sure you can feel the difference in the deck. I mean, I can see the difference in the deck as well.
And then you can't make this up, Kate, but yeah, you can't make it up. So I am working out. It's January now, so the deck has been completed, etc. And I'm working out, and I come back, and it's my son's birthday, which is January 9th, and I'm weeping and weeping and weeping, and I can't stop, and it's just I don't know, it just overcame me. I come home, and as I get out of the car, there's a package at the front door, and it's the first two sample decks from Hay House, and now they told me it was going to come in March. This is 2023 now, in March, but they came on his birthday, and I'm like, I'm so away because I see the package says Hay House, and I'm like, no, this can't be, because I was expecting the sample decks in March, but on his birthday, and it's like, well, mom, happy birthday to me, and then I let them sit the whole day. Like I can't touch them. I can't open them. I'm just blown away. And then I open the deck and there's one card that's actually his card and it's a beautiful picture of a round rainbow that kind of has his face in the middle that I took on the airplane going from Delhi, India to Leh up in the Himalayas. And it was a healing trip I did called Heart Songs in the Himalayas with a dear friend who led this retreat. And the first card I picked out of all the 48 cards was his card. So it was like, I can't believe the synchronicities and I can't
That's
believe,
incredible.
yeah, and it's really for everybody. Like, I mean, it's personal to me, but it's for everybody to know, like, you align and you set your intention and you know that there's goodness that where your heart is of what you want to bring and the universe conspires to support you, and we
Totally.
do have angels, however you want to call them, that we do have angels that guide us, and so many decks have to do with angels and spirit realm. They're all there and we just need to open to receive that. But even so, like those two signs, just they were mind-blowing to me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's your proof, right? That's your proof of what you know. is when a moment like that happens, and it's hard to believe. It's so, but it's right there in front of you. I love that. And
Yeah.
it's so touching to think our experience in that moment has nothing to do with actually how aligned we are. Like that you can have emotions that are challenging and still be in such high alignment with your thoughts and behaviors and your actions. What you're, like I think sometimes we equate like tough feelings with a low vibration, but it's really only if you were to choose the attitude that matches that being your constant state. Whereas like you say, there isn't going to be a magic one phrase that takes away that grief. You need to be with it at times, and when it's, when it shows up, and to be with it. So raw is also how you found this beautiful path, right? Is it all opened up for you? So yeah, it's a beautiful, I'm sure you can see that as well when you look at your whole life story. It's like a beautiful testament to actually how suffering becomes our healing, like that. It's like a very much the same, two sides of the same coin.
Right. And all the time we're just like, no, 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 I don't want
It's so
that.
easy to
Right.
be, because it's so uncomfortable,
It's,
to suffer. It's so uncomfortable.
but if we can create a safe space, which music can help us do, then
Yeah.
you're breathing it, you're feeling it, and you're going, oh, okay, all right. And then in the process of that, it's just moving.
It's not so,
It's
yes.
detoxifying, it's cleansing, it's
Yes.
releasing, it's creating you anew. But it's just that fear or
Mhm.
that anxiety of, I don't want to feel something that big. No, please take it
Yeah, like
away.
I don't want to go there. But then
No.
the vibration is with you, you're there, and then what are you going to do? I guess I'll just continue crying and wait for that package at my door,
Yeah, but you can't figure that one out. Like that was just like,
No.
that was mind blowing. So you keep crying and you follow the thread and
Yeah.
you go, it's okay. I accept that. And then that
Mhm.
acceptance leads you to the next place and the next place. How did you get inspired to do the Oracle Fest? And suddenly you're
Yep.
following that thread of like, yes, this is what I'm going to do. And then there's where the joy is. The joy comes out of, I said yes to that.
Yes.
And it's,
Yes.
yeah.
It's true. And I find often too, the more I've been saying yes, the less I feel like I need to even opt in. It's like, of course, like, yes, of course, like anything you want. Cause that next idea, it's always like something that leads me in this beautiful new direction. So it becomes
Yeah.
quite, yeah, quite invigorating, quite exciting to keep saying yes as well. It gets easier and easier is what I try and tell people as well.
Yeah.
It's only hard when it's like uncomfortable or unfamiliar to you. And then when it's familiar, it becomes a lot easier to go to that place. Yeah.
My teacher, my singing teacher used to say to me, take the question mark off your back. And I'm like, kind of indignant. What question mark? And what are you talking about? And how do you even see that? Right? Like that's my private stuff. And it was like, Jeralyn, it's so obvious because we do have that question mark on our shoulder, on our back. And we do wonder, is it good enough? Am I enough? Do I deserve? And it's like, remove the question mark. What she was speaking about was she was trying to say to me that if I have those doubts there, I can't vibrate at my full vibrational expression. And, she would say to me, it costs you rows of seats. It was like, wait, what? And she was like, your essence, your voice will carry only to the 10th row, and everybody in the theater has paid. So you need to make sure that your voice is carrying to the very back rows and the upper balconies of the theater. So it's the same thing. If I feel, okay, there's this question mark that's wondering, dare I do this? Am I good enough? Do I deserve that? Remove it. Just have the courage to go, I'm going to make a card deck. And this card deck is going to be boom, 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 boom. And guess what? We're going to have a QR code on it. And it's like, it's never been done. How do we do it? Well, we'll figure it out.
Yep.
Okay, here
That's
we
the
go.
ask. I'm just saying yes. We'll figure the rest out later.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And I think that's actually a beautiful place for us to end on as well. It's a beautiful, like, uplift, inspiring message. Keep walking forward with your day. And it's such a joy to have you in this first Oracle Fest event, and with all these other, I've seen all the Oracle Fest speakers as carrying their own torches of light. And so for you having your own torch and sharing this beautiful sound healing with us, and just your authentic self as well. This is what I've really noticed and stands out to me is all the various walks of life and stories that we've come in with as the Oracle Fest speakers here. And everyone is like, I just want to show up and be myself in the world more. There's something in all of us that has that quality, because that is our true healing. So everyone who attends Oracle Fest and a Jeralyn session as well, it's like a beautiful time to just be yourself and be with yourself as well. So thank you very much. Anything else you want to add, Jeralyn, before we sign off for the day?
No, I think we said it, and just to know that sound is medicine. Music is a medicine, and
Beautiful.
it's free. It can be free. So,
Yes,
yeah.
yes. Yeah, so many ways to experience it, and such a world still unknown to us about all the benefits and potential power of healing with sound. So I'm excited to explore and dive further into it and experience some of your sound healing as well. So we will see you on the Saturday, February 1st of Oracle Fest. So thank you so much for being here today.